and we would like to answer.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes. Okay. We all got the alert. All right. Okay. So the plan is that we will discuss about the program, how it is taught in our university.
So the plan is that we will discuss.
Sorry. Am I able to hear myself? Okay. Sonal, is that your screen? I think we need to go on to the PPT mode.
What happened?
We're not able to see the PPT.
You're not
Are you
able
there?
to just
Yeah, I mean, we can just see your dashboard, so we need to close that and just open the PPT. Yeah, all right. Okay, and please, during the call, during the conversations, please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box. As and when admission related, course related, we will try and answer simultaneously. And after each program is presented to you all, we will take a couple of questions with regard to that subject. Totally understand that I think all of you are amidst your 12th board preparations and you've taken this time out, so we will not waste too much of your time. We will try and make it as sharp as possible. All right, so quickly, a few things about the university. Established in the year 2011, this is part of we are funded by the Azim Premji Foundation, and we are a fully philanthropic and not-for-profit entity with a clear social purpose, right? The statistics, the numbers are there. We are in the process of building a society that's going to be just, equitable, humane, and sustainable. All right, what you see here is, of course, you saw the video which had the whole campus, but on the left is our Sarjapur University, and on the right, this year, because we also are starting off our university in Bhopal, so the image that you see is of Bhopal. Yes, we can go on to the next screen. The courses we offer, we actually have two streams. We have the 4-year B.Sc honors and BA honors program. Much in detail will be discussed during the course of this call. And the second stream, of course, is a 4-year dual degree program, which is a B.Sc and B.Ed. That too, we will be talking at length with you. I'm shifting straight away to the timelines because you all know that we have 2 rounds of admission process in our university. We have completed our round 1 admissions. I'm sure a lot of you today who have joined us are people who have already got the results that they've made it to the university. So now we are in the process of doing the second round. The last date to apply would be 9th of March. And the exams, which is the National Entrance Exam test, is an online center-based test, which is on 9th of April. The last few seats left, please do apply. And we would love to have you at our university. The course will commence from July 2023. All right, so this is the brief from my side. And yes, that is it, Sonal. Thank you. This is the screen. We have the contact details. We will again show you this screen towards the end of this presentation if some of you would like to take down the numbers, but otherwise the website has all the information that you may need. Okay, now with this, let me invite Sriram. Sriram is actually Dr. Sriram. He represents the biology department, but he also is going to be talking to us about how this 4-year program is structured, right? So over to you, Sriram, and I'm putting myself on mute.
Thank you, Geeta. May I request that you mute all the participants because some of them have not muted themselves.
Yes, I'll do that simultaneously, yes.
A very warm welcome to students and parents who are interested in our undergraduate science programs. So today's session is largely going to be about the B.Sc programs, and tomorrow we have a similar session for the BA programs. I'm going to talk a little bit about our 4-year B.Sc program, and a little bit later, my colleague will talk about the B.Sc B.Ed program as well. So just a quick history of our undergraduate program. We began in 2015. So the 2023 batch that you will belong to will be our 9th cohort of undergraduate students. We began with about 100 students. In 2021 is when we began classes in the campus whose video you saw. And starting 23 is we are starting something new, which is launching our 4-year undergraduate program, along with our campus in Bhopal. We offer 14 undergraduate degrees. In B.Sc, we have 5 different options, which are biology, chemistry, environmental science, mathematics, and physics. In addition, we also offer B.Sc, B.Ed in biology, chemistry, mathematics, and physics. Before I talk a little bit about what is the nature of the 4-year program, I want to say a little bit about why Azim Premji University, why you should consider it. It's a nurturing academic environment. We have a group of very accomplished faculty members. The curriculum is rigorous and flexible. Rigorous in the sense that we expect students to become independent, self-directed learners, and flexible as I will explain, both by structure. It allows you to tailor your education to your interests. And at multiple levels, you will find yourself both academic support and advising of various choices regarding various choices you have to make along your academic trajectory. It's a fully residential program. Even if you're from Bangalore, you're required to stay on campus in our residences. And part of the reason is that a lot of the education happens outside the class, and that is facilitated by a residential program. And one of the key parts of our undergraduate program is a notion of care ethic, mentoring and care. And in particular, for many of you, this will be a first time moving away from home. So the transition from home to college and school to college, the academic transition from school to college, and eventually when you're at the end from to college to life after graduation, at every step along that journey, you will find that there's a faculty mentor that you can speak and who can guide you through the transitions. In terms of the structure of the program has 5 components. Which are the common curriculum, as the name suggests, is common to every student, irrespective of the major they get admission in. And they build foundational capacity and a certain grounding in Indian context, which is aligned with the larger social vision of the university. Of course, most of you would be interested in a particular disciplinary major, biology, physics, chemistry, etc. And that's the component that is meant to develop that aspect. All of you will be required to take a minor in occupational track. And I will speak for each of these components. I'll speak a little bit more later. I just want to give an overview. And then there are a set of flexible credits which allow you to customize your education. And finally, in the 4th year, you will have the option of either undertaking a research project or carrying out an internship. And essentially, that idea is that will prepare you for the particular career that you may be interested in after graduation. So with that, I'll just speak a little bit about each of these components. The common curriculum is everybody has to take a set of courses, and they build foundational capacities for communication and reasoning, and also a multidisciplinary overview of our past, present, and the future challenges of India. And in terms of courses, they consist of a set of 8 courses. 2 of them are in critical reading and writing, which develop your communication abilities. And then public reasoning, which is about analyzing arguments and learning to write better arguments. Creative expressions are a set of courses which facilitate embodied learning, which are often considered to be extracurricular in many other programs. But these are curricular in the sense that both you're required to do, and these are credited and graded like any other course. And finally, something very unique, a very unique aspect of our program is a set of courses on understanding India, which will allow you to appreciate the sort of the country that you live in, and also the challenges that hopefully you will help address. The second component is the minor in occupational track. And by and large, it's an interdisciplinary track, which basically helps in understanding and engaging with current social, political, cultural, ecological issues that the country is facing. And there will be a set of 4 courses and a sort of a workshop or a field-based course. And they will be in three categories: perspectives, which allow you to appreciate the nature of the challenges. Skills are a set of capacities that will help you at least address those challenges, even if not solve them. And field immersion will give you sort of an outside class engagement with these challenges and sort of perhaps solutions that people are undertaking in addressing. The reason it's called an occupational track is the imagination is that these courses and the immersion will promote certain kind of occupational preparedness, so that you can perhaps, if you're interested, you can pursue them as a career. These are the likely options. And when I say likely options, these are definitely going to be available to you, but there may also be additional ones available by the time you come when these occupational tracks start. So the arts and design, climate studies, data and democracy, education, media and journalism, and sports and fitness. The other component is flexible credits. So these are 7 courses, which essentially you can choose what you want to do, and depending on what your interests are. And some of the options that we anticipate you will take are taking additional electives in your major. So some of you may be interested in pursuing higher studies in your major. For that, doing more courses in your major might be a good option. Some of you may be interested in taking a minor in a related discipline or some other discipline that you're interested in. For example, a physics student might benefit from doing a minor in mathematics, or you're a biology student who's interested in history. You can choose to do a minor in history. So the flexible credits allow you to take a minor in some other discipline. For some of you, your prior preparation at school may not be adequate for a program, and we may recommend that you take some supporting courses, and those courses may also be sort of come under this basket of flexible credits. Finally, the research internship is essentially preparing students for life after graduation, in the sense that these are the 2 options that we will facilitate. One is, if for those of you who intend to perhaps take a research career, there'll be the option of doing a research project. And for those of you who are interested in joining the workforce, the internship either aligned to the disciplinary major or their occupational track will be facilitated. I'll just quickly mention, I have not talked about the disciplinary major because each of us will talk about specifically about the major that you're interested in. So there will be individual presentations. But I also want to point out, in accordance with the National Education Policy, although we believe that your best educational experience is obtained if you stay around for 4 years, you have the option of leaving with a certificate after 1 year, a diploma after 2 years, and a regular degree after 3 years. However, I'll repeat, the best experience will be if you stay around for 4 years and you get a degree with honors. So essentially, at every level, this is what will, if you stay along longer, your educational experience will be enhanced. I won't spend too much time on this slide because we expect most of you will be staying with us for 4 years. Okay, so I'll stop here, and if there are any questions, I may either take them, maybe if you can add them to the chat, or I don't know, if Peter, what would you like me to do?
Yes, actually, there are a couple of questions already. One is biology related, and so there is a question which is saying, can a student take an interdisciplinary minor as well as minor in occupational track? Actually, it's one and the same, right, Sriram? I mean, it's one and the same.
Yeah.
When we say interdisciplinary minor, it's the same as an occupational track minor as well.
I assume what the question is that, can you do a disciplinary minor and a minor in occupational track?
Yes.
So that may,
yes.
So if that is the question, everybody has to take a minor in occupational track. In addition, assuming you will stick around for 4 years, you will be able to take a minor in another discipline.
Yeah, I hope we answered that. And I see that there is a hand raised by Ganesh Sudhar. I suggest that you please type in your question so that we are able to take it. Meanwhile, Sriram, would you like to continue with the biology? Because if there are questions on biology, I think we've decided that he will answer it via text. There is already one question there. So is that how it works, Sriram? Will you be able to take those questions?
Sure. Yeah,
On chat.
I'll take them on chat. I'll
Yes.
quickly talk a little bit about the bio program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for those of you who are interested in the B.Sc in biology, I'll just mention what are the sort of unique aspects of the program. It's integrative and interdisciplinary. It's a biology program. It's not specialized into a particular aspect of biology. So you get an overview of the discipline from molecules, everything from molecules to ecosystems. It is a rigorous education. At the same time, at every level, you get a lot of support from faculty. We take pedagogy and mentoring very seriously, pedagogy being how to teach biology. One of the things we try and do is present biology not as a set of facts, but sort of in context. How are these facts discovered? What does it mean, especially if there is some relevance in India for these kinds of examples? And we often talk about what is the relationship between science, scientists, and society. So biology in context is a very central aspect of the program. And because of the structure of the overall program, you have the ability to balance breadth and depth through flexible credits and of course, common curriculum will give you breadth. Just to give you various aspects of the program, there is sort of equal emphasis on work in the lab, outside the lab or in the field, which is the picture on your right. And also, of course, you do sometimes work out things on the blackboard. And so this is an example of a set of students working out a genetics problem on the board. And finally, just to give you what are the courses, the first 3 semesters are basically build the foundations, give you an overview of biology and some quantitative tools that are needed for the rest of the program. Semesters 3 to 5 cover fundamentals in ecology, evolution, genetics, molecular biology, physiology, and anatomy. And then the rest of the program is a sort of synthesis, bringing together these various aspects and analyzing or addressing particular branches of biology, and also building lab skills and in particular. Those of you who opt for a research project will, of course, have the option to do that in the 7th semester. And there will be a range of specialized electives available depending on your interests. So I'll stop here and I will be happy to take any questions on the chat.
All right. Thank you so much. And yes, some of the questions are there and my colleagues are also answering. So I think we will continue with the same process. May I now request Dr. Divakaran to talk about our mathematics program?
Thanks, Beata. Let me quickly share my screen. Just 1 minute. Just a minute. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will be quickly talking about the maths program. I think Sriram mentioned in his presentation that one of the things that we take very seriously is an atmosphere of care and nurturing the students. And I think that's something which we take really seriously. And that's in some sense, I think, what is special about. So I will talk a little bit more about how we do that in the context of mathematics. That is something that I'm going to talk about mainly today. So what we do to ensure this is that we keep our first year courses at a very simple level. So in the first year courses, you would not cover too much of ground, but will focus on the idea of mathematical thinking. How do you think mathematically? What is mathematics? These kind of basic ideas of mathematics is stressed upon, and we develop certain ways of thinking which will then be used to study the content within mathematics. And To do this, we actually use a special form of pedagogy, which is known as inquiry-based learning in our first year courses. So if you let's first go through a quick list of the kind of courses that you will be doing. So in the first semester, you will be doing a course called Explorations in Mathematics, which will be continued in your second semester as well. So there are two parts to the same course. In addition, in the second semester, you will also do a course in programming. And after that, in the second year, you will start doing regular math courses, which will be similar to the courses that you will do if you go to any other colleges. These courses are analysis, which is like a more rigorous version of what you study as calculus in school. Linear algebra, which is a more rigorous version of the study of system of linear equations. Ring theory, which is a more detailed and abstract study of polynomials in some sense, polynomials, matrices, and things like that. Groups and symmetries, which is a more rigorous study of geometry in an algebraic setting. Discrete mathematics, which includes many things, including combinatorics and things like that. Differential equations, which is often called the language of nature or something like that, right? Like it's said that the most natural phenomenon is expressed in the language of differential equations. So therefore, that is important in our understanding, and a course on probability and statistics. In addition, we will also have some elective courses, but that is really, it depends on interests of students and availability of teachers and so on. But more importantly, I think what I would like to share is the way in which we teach these courses, right? So as I said, the first year courses are taught using something known as inquiry-based learning, where we do not lecture. Instead, what we do is we ask questions and direct the students towards self-inquiry. And when the students are doing this self-inquiry, we provide just enough support. So it's like the idea is that you require some support to ensure that you can go along the program properly. But at the same time, if you provide too much, then you become passive and you do not learn enough. So that right balance of the support and active contribution in class is what we try to strike in these courses. But of course, this has slight negative consequences. It's a little time-consuming process. So because of this, in later semesters, we include more lectures. But at the same time, we don't completely give away the focus on active learning practices. So that is very much present in our later courses as well. But as I said, the thing is, what is important is that, of course, students might come from various backgrounds and they might require various levels of support. Some people might be struggling with basic concepts and might need support to understand the simple concepts that they are dealing with. Some students might be very curious and they might want to learn a little bit farther from what is done in class. So we try to ensure that both these kinds of students are supported through through academic support outside the class. And in addition, if they are going through some personal troubles, that is also something that we help. And this, of course, is true for most disciplines that are there on campus, but we are just emphasizing that this is true here as well. And again, something that is common for all disciplines are club activities. And in maths, we actually have similar clubs where we do various activities like reading books and discussing these books, then having lectures, workshops where we do some craft and relationship with maths or something like that. And sometimes it's like some magic show that uses maths. Sometimes it's a game which uses some techniques like board games, which has maths concepts in it, and various such different options that are there. Another thing that sets us apart is that we have a mathematics lab, which is almost fully functional, but not fully functional. Hopefully, by the time you come, it will be in good shape. And there, what we do is we encourage you to explore maths through physical activities, computational activities, and discussion. So this is something that again is perhaps unique to our university and probably will be of interest to many people. We also have an honors project. So the honors project in maths is perhaps a little different from other disciplines because it's sometimes harder in mathematics to directly start tackling research level problems, but we still try to give a flavor of what research looks like. So that's something which again may be slightly different in maths and other disciplines. So that's why I wanted to stress this aspect. So of course, if everything works out well, you might be able to contribute to like research, but it's not something that you can be sure about. So there are a lot of constraints when it comes to research in maths. There are a lot of prerequisites and things like that, but you will still get a flavor of research through our honors program. And another thing that might be of interest to people would be like, okay, what do I do after this? Okay, fine, you teach us all this, but what do I do after this? So I think of course, the natural thing to do is the most natural paths according, like, given my background, maybe the most natural path in my eyes would be go for higher studies. But when I say higher studies, I don't necessarily mean that you have to study maths. Maths actually opens a path to study various disciplines, including statistics, computer science, even physics and biology, and many such subjects. It's something which actually opens up a lot of opportunities. Various higher education is easier once you have mathematics. You can also become a teacher. Maths teachers are in demand. Science and maths communication is also something that is very important, and that's something which you would be equipped with. We also have a course in programming. Even outside class, there are some activities where you will be guided to learn more programming and things like that. So probably something that's programming related, data related is something, as you saw, there's a statistics course and so on. So if you take the right electives and stuff, maybe you can do something related with data. And if you are willing to do some additional training, then you can also do some other careers. Of course, I wouldn't claim that our program itself equips you to do these careers, but if you take the extra initiative, the added initiative to study on your own, you might be able to do a career, and you might be able to pursue a career in graphics or animation, data analytics, or finance. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Yes, hi, thank you, Divakar. Actually, as much as I thought that we'd be able to do the answering simultaneously, but it looks a little challenging. So, because there are a lot of questions coming in. So maybe we will, if there is any subject related, then I will come back to you on, yes, so there is somebody who's asked B.Sc and a B.Sc B.Ed math, which I'm sure we will address it when Ram is going to be talking to us about the B.Sc B.Ed courses. So some of the questions are there. We'll probably towards the end once again have a look at the chat, and then we will answer them one by one. All right. And yes, I did see a question about somebody asking if we can do a part-time job simultaneously, but no, it's a fully residential program. It's a mandatory residential program. Maybe I didn't add that in the beginning of my talk. So I hope that clarifies that. Next, let me invite Ahana, who will represent the chemistry team. Dr. Ahana, over to you.
Thank you, Bitha. And thank you to Sriram and Divakaran. They've made my job quite a bit easier. It's kind of late, so I will, not take much of your time talking about chemistry. But let me share my screen because I have a few slides to kind of show you the structure of the program, which is important. I hope my screen is visible, right, Bitha? Okay, right. So the chemistry program at Azim Premji University is starting this year. Unlike biology, who had some years of experience, and mathematics also fewer, but still some years of experience, the chemistry program is just getting started. So we are having a very exciting time actually building our labs and getting a faculty group together and all of that. And it's a very exciting time for us, and I'm glad to be here to kind of share it with you. So one of the things about chemistry at the school level, and then subsequently, at the undergraduate level, is that, even though chemistry is so universal, it's all inside you, it's all around you. And I like to use this example of the invention of fire, that right from the time that human beings started actually creating and controlling and mastering fire and using it to kind of manipulate materials in the world around them, human beings became chemists. So everywhere you do have chemistry, that there's chemistry inside us, there's chemistry all around us. And the kind of progress of human civilization has actually been dictated by the materials that have dominated that era. Like we've had the Iron Age, we've had the Stone Age before that, and then now we are in an age of polymers where plastics are all around, and we are in an age of silicon where computers are all around us. But despite all of that, what happens to us in school and in college is that we learn a very large set of facts, right? We learn reactions, we learn properties, and we learn laws, and good students, which I'm sure most of you are, good students learn how to master this content. We are able to solve questions, we are able to solve problems, we are able to kind of use this knowledge to do very well on our exams, but they remain in our minds as this kind of set of disconnected facts. But the difference between a student starting to study chemistry and an expert chemist is the fact that an expert chemist, they are able to form lots of interconnected patterns. So as an expert chemist, you should be able to look at a molecule, look at its structure, and from the structure, form a model in your brain of how the structure and the property of the molecule should be related, what we call a structure-property relationship. You should be able to form that model in your mind, and then that should give you the avenue to be able to make that molecule, to be able to transform that molecule to something more useful or something less poisonous, right? And all of these things is what, as an expert chemist, one should be able to do. So we decided very early on in our program that we don't want to teach students like you who are prospective chemists or who have an interest in chemistry and want to learn more chemistry. We don't want to teach you a set of disconnected facts. We don't want to teach you what chemists know, but rather we want to teach you how chemists think. So we want to help you form these patterns in your mind and these thought processes in your mind like an expert chemist. So our courses, as a result, are divided into what we consider the fundamental questions of chemistry. So what is a substance made out of? How do I make it? How do I change it? And then finally, how do I make sense of its behavior and properties, which is actually the most important thing about chemistry, and how chemists are different from people doing magic, that we have models for the color changes that we see, and we are able to make sense of the color changes in a way that somebody who does not know chemistry cannot, right? So obviously, in order to make you think like chemists, in order to help you think like chemists, the most important thing that we need to do is basically put a lot of emphasis on laboratory work and skills. So research, observation, all these experimental skills, and even computational skills, because computational skills like programming and so on, and analyzing very large amounts of data, it's become important in every field. And of course, it's become very, very important in chemistry as well. So we have, very early exposure to these skills, very early in your kind of studies at Azim Premji University. You will start handling spectrometers, you will start taking data on your own, you will handle advanced instruments that most undergraduate institutions do not give you enough exposure to. That's one thing. We also have this research track that Sriram was talking about, the internship and the research track. Through that, you can get additional hands-on skills in experimental research or computational research in chemistry. We also believe that you should learn chemistry in the context of the problems that we will have in the 21st century. We have all this environmental crisis, the crisis of climate change. We have crisis in our, health sector, like in life and medicine. We need to understand biological processes better. We need to understand how the chemistry of our brain works. We need to understand how viruses replicate and how COVID affects the body. And we need to design good drugs for these things. All of these tools will actually come from chemistry. If we need to replace coal with enough solar energy for entire India to run on electricity, that solution will come from chemistry. So we want you to kind of have the tools and learn the concepts in those contexts. And lastly, we want to be able to enable a wide range of future options for you. Just like Divakaran said, the most natural process or the natural path that maybe every student can follow is to go from college into higher education, masters. A lot of you were already asking about PhDs, but a lot of you were also asking about school teaching. So for instance, how can you combine your chemistry degree with a B.Ed degree, which Ram will talk about, in order to become a good chemistry teacher? How can you, if you don't want to go completely into school teaching yet, but you're still interested in education, can you take an occupational track in education and gain some knowledge about how learning works, how teaching works? Suppose you want to go from chemistry into energy policy, right? How do we use solar energy? How do we effectively transform our energy system? Then can you do a occupational track in climate studies? So we have this whole range of occupational tracks. We have this whole range of disciplinary minors. We have a lot of flexible credits. And so there is no assumption in the chemistry program design that you will become a chemist, but we do have a sufficient number of courses for you to also become the best chemist that you can be, right? So what I have on the table here is the kind of bare minimum number of courses that you need to do in order to kind of graduate after 4 years with a chemistry major. As you can see in our first course, Chemicals in the Community, it's the course that I'm most excited about. It's basically a course that takes you, teaches you the same kind of high school concepts that you learn in chemistry, in high school chemistry, and shows you how it applies to the world around you. So for instance, you learn a lot about hydrogen bonding, you learn a lot about protein structure, but how does that apply to how you boil an egg? And can you, from the observation of boiling an egg in the lab, and we will literally make you boil an egg in the lab, how can you actually observe the changes that are taking place within the egg and connect that to the changes that are taking place in protein structure? What is the difference between a soluble protein and an insoluble protein? Okay. And then we have courses like mathematics and computing that give you the mathematical methods that you need to study chemistry later on. But they also teach you a substantial amount of computer programming, how to read a Python program and not be intimidated when you see a few lines of code, which is what a lot of chemists from my generation are kind of intimidated by looking at computer code. And then we have these core courses that combine concepts from all three subdisciplines of chemistry, physical, organic, inorganic together, to kind of show you a more comprehensive, big picture view of chemistry. Lastly, we've also organized our advanced electives into these kinds of concentration tracks. And if you take 4 courses in these concentration tracks from your advanced elective basket from your flexible credits, then you get a concentration in either synthesis or material science or environmental chemistry or computational chemistry. So that for students who really are focused on higher education, who want to do a PhD in chemistry, or who want to, after graduation, kind of pick up a job in pharmaceuticals or healthcare, these kinds of related industries, they can have a concentration that will allow them to do that. That will equip them with skills to do higher education in chemistry or to pick up a job in these sectors that are very closely related to chemistry. So I think that's all I have to say. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we might have questions in the chat, which in the interest of time, I think I will request all the faculty to look at the chat and answer wherever it seems appropriate with regard to the subject related questions. Okay, we will go next to environmental science and sustainability. Dr. Harini, if you are there, yes, thank you so much. You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how, yeah, give me a second, I'll just share screen.
Yes. While you are doing so, I did see somebody was asking a question on social science. So tomorrow at the same time, we have a webinar where we are inviting social science faculty to join us. Please do join us for the session.
Okay. So I'll run quickly. I know we have a lot of other disciplines to run through. So the environmental science and sustainability, first of all, I think many of you are aware of the critical crises confronting us today. There's climate change, environmental pollution. The United Nations calls it a triple planetary crisis, which is the biodiversity collapse, climate change, and pollution, air pollution. And with that in mind, we in the country have a lot of environmental sciences programs that are long and illustrious, but they've largely been focused on core environmental science. We have called ours environmental science and sustainability, keeping in mind the fact that this particular university is very strong on its focus on interdisciplinarity, and that's why you're doing liberal studies programs, and that's why all of you are applying for liberal studies programs. So you will start with basically an environmental sciences program that gives you the social sciences and policy and economics elements of sustainability, and also end up in communication and humanities issues, right? So we really want to give you a three-dimensional, because you cannot understand or act on the environment only by knowing the science. You have to know the science, but you have to know much more than just the science. So the way that the courses are designed is this. We start with a framing course, and the framing course is the idea of a coupled social environmental system that says that you have ecology, you have the environment, and you have imperatives of development in India. And so how do you actually deal with this as a coupled social environmental system? By doing this entire gamut of India's development trajectory. What does it mean for society? What does it mean for the environment? And how are these two coupled, right? Then we have specific environmental science courses, and they will be on air, water, and soil pollution, on environmental microbiology, on other aspects related to environmental science, which are lab-oriented courses. You will get a sense of actually how to do these tests, which are standardly done in pollution control labs. You'll also get a chance to go to the field and get water samples and air samples and soil samples in different contexts in the Sarjapura area. So it's not just, often in labs, you might get titrated samples, and here you'll actually be dealing with real life issues. As where do you sample a lake? How do you get to the middle of the lake? Do you sample the inlet or the outlet? Which season is it good to sample in to get a sense of why a lake is polluted? How do you deal with waste dumps and trying to understand how they function? So a range of issues in the environmental science domain. Then we look at societal issues, and we have environmental economics and policy, and that's another area that we actually work on. And then on the methods, which is a very strong course on methods. So you will learn quantitative and qualitative research methods. The quantitative is, of course, how to deal with the environmental science data that you collect, how to run statistics on them. But as I said, we also want you to learn how to deal with society. So you will learn how to do social science interviews of people, understand. For instance, let's say you go to an apartment complex. How much trash do they generate? But what do they think about trash? Why do they buy what they do, and where do they think it goes to, and what can influence them to act in a different way about maybe responsible composting or recycling? So all of these require interviews. So qualitative research methods as well as quantitative research methods. And you will get the opportunity to do geospatial technology. So you will learn about GIS and remote sensing, because environment is a very spatial issue. You know, what happens on the left side of your lake and the right side of your lake, or waste dumps start in one place and the pollution travels downstream to another place. So you need to understand spatial issues, which is why geographical information systems become important. You need to be able to map changes over time, which is why remote sensing becomes important. And these are very important skills for you when you get into the job market, both the research methods and the GIS and remote sensing. And if you don't want to get into the job market straight away, but even want to do a master's, they also prepare you to do a range of different masters in, let's say, geography, or ecology and the environment, or development. Right? So this is the broad setup. You start with the framing, then you do the society, the environmental science related questions, then you understand how society acts on the environment, then you learn the research methods, and finally you have a capstone course, which is environmental communication and use. So sustainability and you, how do you do sustainability action, and how do you communicate on the environment? It could be through plays, through songs. So you'll actually get into groups and write and do a range of communication methods. So you learn how, and we'll bring in a range of experts for guest lectures. So you learn how to do effective environmental communication. That's the range. And in year 4, as Sriram mentioned, we also have a chance for those students, and we hope most of you stay for year 4 to do 2 things. The first 6 months, you will do a research project based with one of us, and we have 6 different environmental science faculty working on forests, on environment, on waste, on climate, on GIS and remote sensing, on urban ecology. So that's the range of faculty that we have. So you can work with one of us on a research project, and it could be action oriented or it could be research oriented. And in the second part, we will place you in an internship either with an NGO or a civil society group or a government organization or a corporate group working on environmental science. So you get both experiences, how it is to work on a research project, as well as how it is to work for an outside organization as sort of a job apprenticeship in the same. So that's the general framing of the course. Run through this quickly, many of you, because we need to get the other disciplines in here, but I'm happy to answer questions. Now, our teaching approach, it's just a practice-oriented. Environmental science is a real-world discipline. It's all around you. You cannot learn it only by theory. You need to get practice. On the other hand, there is obviously theory. So just by getting practice, you're not going to go ahead. You need to understand how to make sense of what you study. Right? So we have a lot of engagement with the lab and the field, and every course, or at least most of the courses, will have small projects. So for instance, with GIS and remote sensing, or with environmental science, you would have small projects. They could be individual, they could be group, where you pick up a piece of data, you collect the data, you analyze the data, you make the sense of the data, and at the end of the course, you actually present the data. Right? So you not only work in the lab on the data sets we give you, but you also pick up a data set of your own to get more familiarity and get that independence in learning how to design it and work through the end. And about half of these will be group projects. So you also learn to work in groups, which is a very important thing. You know, how do you collaborate with people? How do you get people together? And how do you produce successful group projects? Which is, I think, one of the tragedies of today is we're not learning how to work together very well. We tend to stay in our own polarized groups. And so working in groups is very important. Right? And this is it's open to all streams. We encourage you to come not just from the sciences, but also if you have social science and humanities backgrounds, because we strongly believe that a diverse classroom is really useful. Those of you from the humanities can really explain to us about how communication and thinking in very in using different parts of your brain is very important for environmental science. Right? And social science is, of course, very critical to this, and science is a strong foundation. However, that said, please be aware that this will require some amount of understanding of mathematics and statistics, very basic, but some amount will be there. So you can't get away from doing analysis, doing some calculations, doing some kind of computations and some statistical analysis. And we can give you extra reflections for those of you who need that. But we don't want you to come in not aware of this and saying, it's okay if you have maths phobia. We'll lead you through this very gently, but you will need to do you will have to engage with quantitative data. So this is something we have. And this is, as I said, our faculty team has expertise in climate science, urban ecology, remote sensing, climate, energy, and conservation. What are your career prospects? It's a very growing field in India. The sky is very open. You could work on environmental impact assessments. You could work on research, GIS and remote sensing of the environment. You could move to industry. You could work with the government. You can even create your own jobs. And we've been talking to students of environmental science in other places. They're, often many companies don't realize that, or NGOs working in development, for instance, might not realize that the environment is such an important component of what they do. But really, nothing you do in life is disengaged from the environment. So you can create your own jobs. We will also have opportunities for you to learn from environment entrepreneurs who have set up their own companies and work with a combination of looking at social justice, which is a very important focus of this university. For instance, Adivasi groups working on the environment and doing sustainable agriculture and taking that to markets in cities. So we will have opportunity for a lot of guest lectures that come in to really give you cutting edge exposure in this field. That's it. I'll take over any of the questions in the chat.
You want to raise a hand? Can we ask questions now?
Look at some which has the environmental science related, and we will take those questions. Sorry, no, we'll take questions in the chat because we still have 2 more programs to present, and in the interest of time, I'm requesting the faculty to reply to you on the chat itself if it's a subject related question. If it is something with regard to admission process, application for process, we do see that some of you have difficulty in, with regard to your form. Like I said, at the back end, we are answering all your questions. We would like to go ahead and have the faculty for the day, right? So I hope best way to go forward. I hope I was audible. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I was. Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, Beta, you are audible.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Dr. Rama, if you are on call, then would you please take over for physics? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you see the screen?
We are able to start PPT. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You might have to.
Yeah. Can you see this?
Right now, I mean, you'll have to. Yes, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. So let me just talk to you briefly about the physics program that we have at Azim Premji University. So the program was essentially conceived, designed, and is run by a group of physicists who have a strong background in either theoretical or experimental physics and who are deeply committed towards science education. And we believe that physics should be made accessible to any student who has a keen interest, irrespective of their level of preparation that they may have at school level. So the kind of courses that we design in our physics program has been done with a lot of care so that we bridge the gap between high school and the undergraduate level, so that students who come here to study physics have strong foundational skills. So we have, so what is shown here on the left is all the core courses that we offer in our program. And these are not very different from the standard courses that are offered in physics in any universities, either in India or abroad, or ISERs, IITs, and so on. What I have shown here on the right are the electives that we offer besides the core courses over the 3 or 4 semesters. And these are based on the expertise and the interests of the faculty that we have. Okay, so for more details on these courses, you can also refer to the physics program at the Azim Premji University website. So what is unique about our program? So one of the things that we strongly believe is that there should be a strong lab component along with any of the theory courses that we make, theoretical concepts that you learn through our program. And these labs could be either experimental or computational. And we feel that this kind of builds a hands-on experience that is essential for you to have a strong grounding in various concepts, but also to learn how to contextualize your own learning. So what the faculty have done is to carefully design various labs. They build their own equipment. So what you see on the left is essentially the equipment that the faculty themselves have built, so that what you have before you, usually that's many of us have the experience of dealing with black boxes at our own universities when we were doing our undergraduate education. So we feel, sometimes we find that students are also excited to be a part of this process of building equipment. And finally, they are not just pushing switches, but they're doing something that's more meaningful. So what is shown here are currently the kind of lab facilities that we have here, the various electronics lab, the equipment that we use for both research and teaching. And this is something that we keep upgrading. And students, as as mentioned in many other disciplines, students also do various honors projects. So that's what is shown here. They, depending on the interests of the faculty or their own expertise, you can see that they do a variety of projects which range from high energy physics, fluid mechanics, fracture mechanics, optics, soft matter, biophysics, and also science education, not to say the least. And besides this, we also have a very active astronomy program, which is run by our faculty, and that would include stargazing in the nights. It would include writing papers for students who are really interested, get more interested in astronomy. What is shown here is a group of students visiting an observatory in Ooty as part of the astronomy program. And what is shown here is a student who got so interested in astronomy that he built a micro observatory in the lab so that he can map the skies near Shahjahanpur. So if you want to know more about our program, this is a website that you can check out, because then you know what is the exciting discussion that happens between the students and the faculty, both inside and outside the classroom. So you may say, as we complete 8 years of our program, where are we? What do our students do? So here, of course, they go for master's and PhD programs in different parts of the country. Some of them also apply abroad. This would include very scholarship programs, specific scholarship programs like the Erasmus Mundus. They join universities in different parts of Europe or even in the US. Some of them have currently completed their master's program and are now doing their PhD. And it's not just all physics. They are also interested in science education. Some of them want to be school teachers. They want to work in startups. So many of them do get very deeply into education. We have students who work in social sector. They are in water management, startups. They go as part of foundation. And some of them are into science writing, communication, design. And we also have students who do things beyond science, like some of them who are interested in climate studies. They join the MA or MA education or MA development programs of this university. And we also have a couple of students who have joined the London School of Economics to study, to do more studies on economic policies and similar related areas. So I'll just stop with this, and we'll be happy to take any questions if you have. Thank you very much. So I will stop sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think how much ever we talk about the lab facilities that we have, it's still probably not enough. And I'm hoping that you all do visit us. I did see a question as to when can you visit a campus. You can always, we have a campus visit form on our website. Please to write on that and to visit us. And we will be very happy and proud to show you around. And yeah, we look forward to meeting you in the campus too. All right, and now we work with the B.Sc B.Ed program. Over to Dr. Ram. Ram, are you able to? Because I already see questions on the B.Sc B.Ed programs that we have. So I think after this presentation, most of the questions would be answered. Over to you, Ram.
Good evening, everyone. Are you able to see my screen, Geeta?
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
So, my name is Ram, and I thought I will present to you about the B.Sc B.Ed program. It's a dual degree program preparing science and mathematics teachers. It's an initial preparation program for school teachers. You must have heard about the previous presentations on the different disciplines in science. And this program adds on to that. In that sense, you do the same kind of disciplinary courses you do in biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. On top of it, you also have the same common curriculum that you do as part of the regular 4-year program. But instead of doing a specific occupational track, you would be doing courses in education, which is both coursework as well as a lot of school practice work. The science preparation is almost exactly the same as the standard science program. And then on top of it, you have an education component added to it. The education component, I'm going to talk about in a little bit detail because you've already heard about the science parts, whether it's biology, physics, chemistry, or mathematics. In education, we broadly divide our education program into 3 components. The perspective courses, which broadly introduces you to the different ideas in education, which comes from philosophy, sociology, and psychology largely. These builds you the educational perspectives and develops educational judgment in you. The second set of courses is the pedagogy courses. This is more specifically aligned to the kind of major you have done. For example, if you have done a major in biology, while you have some common teaching science pedagogy courses, you will also have teaching biology as a specific pedagogy course. And finally, the school practice, which is a very, very important component of our program. As you might know, our university belongs to a larger organization, Azim Premji Foundation. We work in the field of education for the last 20 years, and we have been working in 50 different districts in the country. We use all those experiences and the capacities we have across the country as part of the school practice program. I will show you a short video about the school practice program in the next few slides. So this gives you sort of a quick flow of what happens in the 4 years in the program. In the first year, it's almost common with the rest of your undergrad classmates that you would have in the university. It's not specific to the education program. In the second year, our education courses will start along with your disciplinary courses. You will start doing both your biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, and education courses. That will continue in the third year too. The second year, there'll be education perspective courses. In the third year, you will have education pedagogy courses. But your first set of school practice components starts in the third year. Here, as the name suggests, it's a local school engagement. It will be within Bangalore. And you will be visiting schools weekly, quite regularly to some of the schools in East Bangalore, closer to our campus. And this is so that you have the schools are the equivalents of labs for your science programs in that sense. So you go there, you actually learn by doing, learn by observing and understanding rather than just reading about it. In the fourth year, actually, one whole semester, you are going to be placed in a school across the country where the foundation operates. So it could be in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, even in Karnataka. All the schools where we work with, we place you for a whole semester. And this is an intensive internship program, which is facilitated carefully by our teacher educators from the university, as well as the school teachers and the principals in the school, right? And then you come back in the last semester, in the final semester, you have your final set of electives in your disciplinary courses and final pedagogy courses. I'm going to give you a short video of the field practice that are there. So far, 2 batches of students have completed their field practice. I'll give you a short video of that. I hope you're able to listen to the audio too. If not, Beta, can you sign? I don't know what to do with that, but anyway, let's see.
Yeah, sure.
Can you hear the audio?
No.
No.
We can just see the video. The audio is.
That's okay. Audio is not too important. We just get to see the various actual experiences students have. These are actual photographs of them spending times in schools, engaging in the practice of teaching science. We integrate science with arts, music, so that our students who become teachers later are equipped not just as science teachers. And you miss the audio there. Our students also prepared to teach in Indian languages. This student is teaching mathematics in Kannada. Yeah? And she is teaching in Hindi about properties of matter. Storytelling. It includes storytelling as a way of teaching. In this particular case, she's talking about water cycles and issues of water and mathematics and patterns. So a big part of your learning to teach is by doing. And that's a very important part of our undergrad program, teacher education program. The students also engage with multiple activities. They create student-led magazines about education because we want to communicate the challenges and the opportunities and the successes and achievements of education to other teachers and budding student teachers. So our students also create education-related magazines. They do voluntary student projects. We have our own education seminars. We have our own equivalent of a TED Talk, which is related to teacher education. And these are all largely student-run. And I'm keeping the presentation quite short. The last one, career prospects. Obviously, the first thing that we would want our students to do is to become good science teachers. So both in science and mathematics, you are equipped to teach from grades 5 to 10. For the 11th and 12th, I think right now the regulatory system in the country is that you're expected to have a MSc degree. Our students can also go into the education sector broadly, if not school teaching, whether in terms of content writers, curriculum designers. And because the disciplinary courses are the same as the standard undergraduate program, if you decide to pursue your higher education in the particular science disciplines, you can do that too. So if you want to do a MSc or a PhD in your particular sciences, this program prepares you equally in the content areas and discipline so that it doesn't close those opportunities for you. It's very quickly, this is the presentation of the B.Sc B.Ed program. I've not been able to see the chat fully. If someone can see that for me, then I can respond to questions related to the B.Sc B.Ed program.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm trying to do the same in case we have missed any questions. But I think Rajgopal has been replying to most of the questions. Rajgopal, is there anything that we would want to highlight to the faculty? I'm sorry, because the chat questions are many. I have also lost track.
There's just one question on can students change the subject after joining the program? I think if it's come for one specific thing, but many might have this question. So if we can just respond to that. Sriram?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just respond to that.
Yes.
So first of all, when you're admitted to a major, but most of you will have the option of also taking the first course in some other major in your first semester. And assuming there is capacity in the other major, you can switch at the end of the first semester while maintaining your duration of study. There is also a formal process of switching after 1 year, but that typically means that your duration of study will be increased because you will have to take your first year courses in your second year and so on. So there is some, so it may, depending on how the timetable works out in your years 2, 3, and 4, may extend your duration of study. But this is all subject to capacity. If a major is full, you can't transfer to that major.
Okay. I did see a question on physics too. Rama, were you able to answer that? I think somebody wanted to know about the master's program after
Yes,
pursuing.
yes.
You
Yes.
already replied to that, is it?
Yes, yes. You can typically you can take up master's program in any discipline related to physics once you have a bachelor's degree in physics.
All right. Yes, somebody has asked whether they can write an email to us. We did towards the end of this presentation, we will once again share a screen where you can write to us admissions@apu.edu.in with regard to any question that you may have for the faculty. I know we are not able to probably answer a lot, but if you want a detailed reply to anything, then yes, we will come back to you with the reply on that. Is there any other question? Yes, do we have? Yes. Yes, Rajgopal.
Hi, Bita. No, I looked at, I think we have covered ground. We have answered quite a lot of questions. And
Yes.
For the participants, I just put on the chat that this is only the first among the many webinars that you will have. Right. So we deliberately did not cover about campus life and also much, which we will do in the upcoming webinar. So this webinar, the idea was to make it quite clear that how the 4-year honors program would look like. There are elements like the common curriculum that you should be aware of. You should be aware of the opportunity to do a professional internship in the final year. I think those elements came out quite well. So
yes.
And there are some questions on the application form changes in the, I think those are standard responses we can give in the chat, how they can make changes to the application form.
Yes. So in case there are any changes that you wish to make to the form that's already submitted, then there is a raise a query that you can go to and write to us. And you will not be able to edit any of the information. So hence you will have to raise a query to let us know what is the edit that you prefer. And then we at the back end will do that for you. Yeah, so that is, again, I do see questions on environmental science, and I also see a question for B.Sc Biology Honours course compared with the 4-year MSc course offered by other universities in India. I mean, that's going to be a long answer, but Sriram, would you want to address that? Or we can request.
Sure. I'll just make a quick, I am not aware of any 4-year master's program. There are 5 years typically. I also don't want to make any comparisons because this will be the first batch of the 4 years degree. I can say that by and large, after 3 years, our students have managed to do whatever they have managed to do in any other program. So in that sense, the outcomes are no less or no than any other program.
Yes. Okay, there was a question on how rigid we are with our practicals. Ahana, would you like to take that question, please? I know we talk a lot about our lab, so I think somewhere the question is that how rigid are we when it comes to our lab activities? So,
I mean, basically, I can I mean, I can speak for chemistry, and perhaps I'm a little bit familiar with physics and biology as well. But essentially, most of our courses have a substantial lab component. And the philosophy that we have behind designing our lab experiments is that you don't follow a very rigid kind of cookbook, kind of recipe, kind of lab experiment protocol. We don't give you all the answers right at the start, and then you kind of just follow the procedure blindly. They are more open-ended, more inquiry-based, and there are some courses in which you do multi-week, kind of group projects. And so it's a mixture of, some skills that you actually have to learn in order to be able to do any kind of higher education or any kind of higher courses in the subject. And, just the whole thing of go observe, have fun, learn how to do things in the lab. A mixture of both. So rigidity plus flexibility, I would say. Thank you.
Okay. With regard to the university hostel and campus, I thought I saw a question when somebody asked, are we allowed to go out? So yes, you can go out, but 9:30 is when we'll expect all the students to be back in. We have resident mentors who are going to be there, who not only are going to be looking after the well-being of your stay in the campus, but also will be assisting. They are going to be supporting you with your academics too. So that's the role they play. So yes, there will be a time in and time out. Hostel,
There's a
yes.
question on teaching in government schools in their state.
Yes, Ram, please, for you.
So yeah, this is a approved National Council of Teacher Education approved B.Ed program. So you're eligible to be a teacher according to the law of the country in any state in India. A science teacher, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Vita.
No problem. I know some of you were directly also messaging me. Unfortunately, I'm not able to view all the messages. So if there are any questions which you feel are not answered because it was sent to me, then feel free to put it on the group for everyone, so that somebody else from the back end is also able to answer.
Vita, there's one specific one on girls with disabilities that I think the gentleman is asking 2-3 times. So,
okay, so I think, yes, if you can just share your email ID, or you can write to me, because I would want the person responsible for, but yes, we do have the provision. So unfortunately, I'm not authorized to give you all the details. I don't have it. Hence, if you can just share your email or write to us, I will come back to you from the department, from the set of people who are actually looking after this. I'm sorry, I don't have them in today's call. Otherwise, we would have answered this question.
There's a question on language in the B.Sc B.Ed program.
Okay.
Definitely Hindi and Kannada is a preferred set of languages. We also facilitate students for Tamil and Telugu and Malayalam. But we are not equipped to deal with all the Indian languages. But you would, based on the internship is going to happen in your 4th year. So in a way that if you at least have a basic understanding of Hindi, we can prepare you in the next 3 years towards going to a Hindi context. But most of these schools have partial English context too. So it's not fully reliant on an Indian language. But of course, in India, I think it will be good to have some fluency in one Indian language at least. Yeah. No, you cannot leave the program after 3 years in a B.Sc B.Ed program. It doesn't make sense. It is a dual degree program. So if you would get only a B.Sc if you leave in 3 years.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, somebody was asking about the test structure for the entrance exam. That's on the 9th of April. So again, we have 2 sets, which is basically the MCQ. So the quant and your English is tested by means of MCQ. You do not have a subject test in the written component this time. So that will be tested when you are selected for an interview. So which means your entrance exam will have an MCQ in English and quant. You also need to be giving us 2 descriptive answers, which will be analytical. One question is analytical and one is contextual, for us to understand if you are able to communicate, if you're able to let us know why you wish to join the program, and it could be on any general topic. We do ignore grammatical errors, and we do ignore spelling mistakes, so we are not looking for the best in terms of language, but we definitely will understand what is it that you want to convey to us. So this is how the written exam is going to be, followed by an interview. So interview is going to be a 30 minutes discussion with the faculty, and that is where we will want to understand why you chose to major in a particular subject that you have chosen. So that's how the selection is going to be. I also did see somebody asking if an international curriculum student can apply for the programs. Yes, that is definitely possible. They can also be applying. In fact, we have a lot of students from the IG and the IB curriculum currently studying with us. Again, I don't know if there are more questions coming in. Could one pursue a PG in computer science after a degree in math or physics? Divakaran, would you like to answer that question, please? Unless you've already answered, sorry.
I had answered that already.
Oh, you have. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. In my screen, it's just popping up, so I'm not able to exactly see the sequence of questions. All right. If there was a question on fee structure as well. So Sonal, if you can just, yeah, okay. This is our contact us. You have our email address and our phone number here. And please do write to us. We will go back to that. I think what we are trying to do is we are trying to show you the fee structure part of it, because we do have the financial scholarship. So the entire tab is there. This information is also available on our website. So you may look at that. It depends on the family income, and accordingly the fees given. So when you apply for us, when you apply for admissions, you need to indicate whether would you like to avail a scholarship from us based on the family income, and then the process starts. Once you are selected into the program, there will be a financial assistance interview, and someone of us will be reaching out to you, and then that's how the offer letter will be made with the fee that is payable by you. So that might vary from individual to individual, but this is the structure that is for you to know. And Sonal, would you want to please go to the contact part of it? Because yes, so there is a phone number there. Please feel free to call us, and our email address is also given to you. Please reach out to us if there are any questions that we may have missed today. Like I said, I know a whole lot of you are actually in the middle of your board exams, but you still took time out to join us today, and I hope all of you do very well in your boards and whatever is remaining. And as Rajagopal had mentioned, we plan to have several more sessions. So in fact, we would host webinars where we might just go topic by topic, so that there is more time and there is more interaction. I know when we schedule with a lot of programs, it does get difficult, but we will be reaching out to you. And so look forward to our events, and then and join us for all the rest of the webinars. To the faculty, thank you so much for joining today. And I see, as I've already said to people, to write to us. So if there are any questions which come to us, then I might be forwarding them to you. All right. I hope no more questions came in. I'm just going to make one quick look. Yes. How do we register? All right. Is there any reservation?
Ma'am, can I ask a question, please?
Yes. Yes, please. Sonal, you can stop sharing.
So in B.Sc B.Ed program,
okay.
B.Sc B.Ed program, after 3 years, can we apply for UPSC? Are we eligible? So UPSC is asking in graduation degree. So any competitive exam is asking degree. So can we apply after 3 years to those programs by staying in our college, by doing 4th year also?
Ram, would you like to answer this?
See, if you clear the UPSC exams, you have to go for the training. And you can't do that while being in the 4th year in the program.
No, sir, can we apply? My question is, can we apply for those after 3 years, completing after 3 years?
See, you would if you're continuing the program, in my understanding, you would not receive the degree. And I'm not sure about the application process for the UPSC, whether you can apply before you receive a degree. If the application process allows you to apply before receiving the degree, you can. So I don't. You have
That
to
is
ask
what, sir. Am I
UPSC for that.
eligible? Am I eligible after 3 years? Can I get
We don't
degree
know
after
actually.
3 years?
No, you would not get a B.Sc, B.Ed degree after 3 years.
In
Now, if
B.Sc
you want to
honors
get a degree
program,
after
sir.
3 years, you have to get the
That's right.
degree program and not opt for the honors program.
Correct. I'll just
Rakesh
add.
Babu, if you want to get a degree in 3 years, you have to opt for the 3-year degree program and leave the university after 3 years.
So is 3-year degree offerings are this year by our university?
Yeah, we are
I think,
obliged to offer that in a part of the national education policy.
I think that is the question probably. I think to the point, B.Sc,
Can I
B.Ed.
just clarify this thing? So,
Yes.
You can leave at after every year and you'll get the appropriate qualification. However, if you want to get a B.Sc, B.Ed degree, you have to stay for 4 years. For a regular B.Sc degree, that you can get a B.Sc degree in 3 years. The curricula are slightly different for the B.Sc, B.Ed and B.Sc in the sense that some of the sequencing of courses are different. So if you join the B.Sc, B.Ed, you may not complete all the requirements for the B.Sc in 3 years. So that is something to keep in mind. So if that is what you wish to do, that you might want to start applying for competitive exams after 3 years, you are better off applying for the B.Sc rather than the B.Sc, B.Ed.
Yeah.
I mean, also keep in mind that our program is quite rigorous. It is very difficult to prepare for the UPSC while, let's say, in your 4th year. So you won't have the time necessarily.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Are they? I think most of the questions are being already answered. The list and links have been shared. Okay, I think we might, it's a good time to end the webinar. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Like I said, the round 1 is completed. We have already announced the results for that. So we have very limited seats for the round 2. If you have not filled in your application, I request you to please complete the process because 9th of March is going to be the last day to apply. And 9th of April will be the exam. A couple of days before the entrance exam, you all will receive your admit card, which will give you the details of the center that you need to go to for the exam. You might have already selected which is the city that's closest to you. So that's where we will see. Thank you so much. And a special thank you for all the school students from Mysore who sat through this presentation. And I hope we were audible and everybody was able to hear this. So thank you so much, faculty, and have a good evening. And tomorrow again we meet and we will be discussing all the BA programs. So if there are friends of yours who would wish to attend to that, please request them to join in. The link would remain the same. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Can I? Okay. There are more questions pouring in. I don't have the heart to leave the session, but okay. All right, please reach out to us, write to us, email, give us a phone call. We are happy to answer all your questions. And we look forward to seeing you at the university as a student as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. Good night.